keeps
Okay.
pushing on me.
OBS just now reconnected. So, hello! Because this is the first that you would have heard of it.
Wait, the first live was a fake?
The first live was a fake. Now we're
God.
actually live.
I watched a Burger King ad for nothing.
I'm so sorry.
It was Geico for me.
I've had 3 Verizons.
Oh my god, you really need to change your flow plan.
Anyhow, welcome everyone to the newly rebranded Queensgate Chronicles. This is going to be a series that takes place in the Queensgate system. And what I have done is gathered together several of my favorite world builders in order to create a world for these games to take place in. We are going to take turns going around the table. We'll probably go in overlay order, and I will explain what that is for people who aren't, watching, who are on stream. But we will first introduce everyone, starting to my upper left with the incredible Gnome-Ann.
Hi, I'm Gnome-Ann, or Ann the Gnome. You might know me from the internet, where I do shenanigans. I run actual plays on my Twitch channel, and I make short form content on TikTok and Instagram, and I go on rants on Twitter, but not the bad kind, unless you're wrong. And also, I just finished the next step of my little Mothman Furby. And in doing so, because I wasn't paying attention, I melted part of my keyboard. Hi.
Oh my god, I am so sorry, but
it's
also...
fine. I think I just found this on the side of the street, quite literally.
You
Such
know,
a high ratio of my possessions are from
That's where you
dumpsters.
find the best stuff, though. Like, my gramps used to make me pull over, specifically. Like, it didn't matter I was late to work.
You're not...
Like,
if you're not finding mysterious objects on the side of the street, you're not living. These are the kind
Speaking of mysterious, next in our overlay order is Nox.
Oh, hi! Hi everyone, my name is Nox Kitos, my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And yeah, I'm here. What's up? You may know me from the internet, where I also do things. I was a GM for... Fuck off! I was once noted as one of the most feral GMs ever by our very own Sin because of a campaign known as Mass the Puzzle Project. I haven't met a character I can't make disabled. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I have a cat.
And we love that for you. Going down as we continue clockwise, next, Shock.
Hi, I'm Shockpoint Failure. I also do things on the internet. I also have a cat. Unfortunately, mine is currently uncooperative for the camera, so I can't really prove it as readily, but he will probably wander into shot sooner or later. He does that on occasion. You'll probably know me for my rather what did you say, large or sporadic appearances over on...
Okay, reconnection successful. We are back live.
I got a Garnier ad this time.
This is about the worst that things could go, but
what are you talking about? You're running all these ads? You're just mining cash. You're going to be rich at the end of this.
Also, I think
we hope that they're mining cash. But as I was saying, I do things. I am the legal department of Singularity. I run Speakeasy Conspiracy over there, and I am in quite a few games where I somehow always end up being the voice of reason. I do not know how that happened. I'm a little brother. I should never be the voice of reason. Why am I always the voice of reason?
Because you're in the same group as Fail.
This is very true. And
why does it happen when I'm not in groups for Fail?
Because Sin introduced you to me and Anne.
Fair enough.
And last but certainly not least, the all-seeing eye.
Hey everybody, my name's Alan, the All-Seeing Eye. I am also one of the staff members for Singularity. You've probably seen me around trying to keep Fail from going feral with his Jonathan Taylor Thomas conspiracy, as well as running King's Gambit, Breaking Neon, and Fragments of Tomorrow's Apocalypse, which Sin is in, and Shock is in both Breaking Neon and King's Gambit.
And also incredibly happy to have you here. And then myself, I am Synthetic. I will be the GM for Queensgate Chronicles. I am an eldritch horror beyond all imagining that exists nearly in a void. And the last series that I ran, I started by asking one of the players to describe their death to me. So I have a track record, is what I'm saying.
That's a
But-
good place to start.
I'm
It
becoming
is.
increasingly more scared of you.
We're going to have fun. I guarantee it. I think that is all of the big stuff. Of course, if you want to keep up on the happenings, the Queensgate Chronicles series will start February 5th, and it is going to run the first Monday of each month at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So if you want to be aware of when the show is happening, then give us a follow. Up on the upper left, you can see the Twitter and Blue Sky are both QG Chronicles. And here, Queensgate Chronicles is the channel where the series is going to run. So, without too much further ado, I am annoyed at my thing, so I am going to move myself on the overlay because I have the power to do that live, so it doesn't bother me for the rest of the night. Let's go ahead and break down what's going to happen. All of the cast has been made aware of safety lines and veils for this stream, but also there will be veto power for modifications of these world facts for the cast as well. So make sure to note that anything could change as I introduce these world facts to the cast, which I can say, yeah, let's do the initial announcement of who that cast is going to be. First, the only world builder to be crossing streams and also being on the cast is our very own Nox Quiros. So she will be joining us. In addition, a good friend of mine, Cassidy, also known as Yoda Almighty, will be on the cast. Danny goes by Danny's Corner or Animated Pizza, a cast member from my Ironsworn campaign over on Nerds with Dice, will be joining us. And lastly, Matt from his name is Improv and RPG, who is all over the place, will be rounding out the 4-person cast. So I'm quite excited to work with these people. they are people that I've worked with before and will gladly work with again. So, with that in mind, we will move into the fact system. This is part of the Queensgate system. Before any game takes place in the system, you go around and each player, including the GM, gives 2 facts about the campaign world. So the campaign world is built collaboratively between yourself, the GM, and the players. Of course, you're already frightened, as you should be when you step into a game with a creature beyond imagining. So we will go around our metaphorical table. One of our participants, Hooper from Lost Caravan RPG, could not be with us tonight, but he gave 2 facts that we will incorporate in to replace his cherished presence. So, the first fact that will be from me is from the base system. And it is, this fantasy world has a single large city named Queensgate that is ruled by an immortal queen who is fair, equitable, and ruthless when anyone breaks her laws. So, I'm a Planescape nerd. That was my favorite D&D setting, and I have transplanted the Lady of Pain directly into our system. And Queensgate is modeled off of the City of Doors. So if you are a fan of Sigil, as the creator says it, or Sigil, as TSR said it, the reaction.
I hate it. I hate it.
I don't like
refuse.
that.
I will
No.
die
Instant
on
migraine.
this hill.
That was worse than moist.
I adore Sigil, and that was the system as it was stated, or the name of the city as stated by the creator. So that's what I go with.
A word that exists. It's spelled that way. So like,
Where's
words
the
mean
thing
things.
from Men in Black with the whoop whoop whoop? I'd like to erase that.
But yes,
Lobotomize me. Get it out of my brain.
The city of Queensgate has an eponymous queen that
Mrs. Gate?
we'll be getting to the gate later.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you just said eponymous queen. I was like, wow, Queen Gate. Whomst I love.
But yes, this brings the flavor of Planescape into the campaign, and I'm very happy to
My camera
to
crashed,
have
sorry.
Yes, I saw that your face crashed for a moment.
That happens sometimes. Can I ask about
So-
your facts? Because when we
Oh,
introduce
yeah.
facts, can we like ask clarifying questions?
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
kind of what this is about. Like, if you have questions or if I have questions for anyone.
Teacher, I have questions. I always do.
Yes.
Okay, so you're like, there's only one city in this world, and it's Queensgate.
Yes. Yes.
But is that the only like is this world? Does the world exist beyond the city? Is the city the whole world? Is that what I'm trying to say?
That is a very good question.
Okay,
Now,
that has not been established.
has not been established as of yet. As I imagine it, I do imagine that there are people that live outside of Queensgate, but they are few and far between, and usually going to be very powerful in their own right, because to survive outside of the city is a feat.
So kind of like Ba Sing Se.
You could say that.
Okay. That helps
could-
a lot, actually.
I have another question.
You could bossing say that.
Okay, and I'm
It happened-
leaving. Goodbye.
It happened in my brain. I had to get it out into the
I don't know
world.
if that's worse than me thinking about National Treasure when you said Mrs. Gate.
I don't understand the connection.
Again, I'm autistic. Do you mean that? Like,
I know,
genuinely, because
I do.
like, the main
Is there a
character,
Mrs.
their
Gate
last
in
name
National-
is Gates. Their last name is Gates.
Oh. Is that Nick Cage's character?
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Okay,
This
so
is not
here's the
related
thing:
at
is I
all.
can
I'm
never
so
conceive of
sorry,
Nicolas
Sid.
Cage as playing a character. I always think of Nicolas Cage only plays Nicolas Cage.
Exactly.
So, like, in every movie he's been, I like to think that they all exist in the same universe together, and he's actually just one guy going on all these adventures.
I like to think that they're picking his movies.
So, in
just
your
with
logic,
Cards
which
Against
happens
Humanity.
first?
Well, obviously they happen
Gone in 60
chronologically.
Seconds or Ghost Rider?
So I think Ghost Rider takes place in like a sort of like futuristic setting. So that would happen later.
I
So
wanna
Wicker
say-
Man
I
or
actually
Ghost
want to say
Rider.
that Ghost
Wicker Man
Rider
happens
happens.
after Ghost Rider.
I love everything about the rails and where they have gone away.
I was gonna say, I feel like Ghost Rider happens after The Rock.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Ghost
but
Rider
what
happens
happens
My fact is
first?
that Nicolas
Face
Cage
Off
is
or The Rock?
real.
Okay,
Face
so
Off.
Face Off happens before The Rock. Then he gets caught face swapping.
So wait, that means which one
Then he
goes
comes back,
forward
develops
in
a
this
vengeance
timeline as
streak.
Nicolas Cage? John Travolta or Nicolas Cage?
We'll never know
I'm not gonna lie, I
because
don't
Sean
really.
Connery was involved.
I
Is
feel like
this-
Gnome wasn't invested in this concept until it was challenged.
Yeah, now I'll die for this.
Now they'll throw down.
I need to see the Gnome Nicolas Cage movie chronological order. It's like when like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like watching chronological order according to timeline.
Nicolas Cage.
I need
cinematic
I need
universe.
an
Next happen in
infographic
all of this.
of
I
the
was
world
like-
of
I was
Nicolas
like-
Cage according to Gnome, and I need to watch these movies in Gnome's chronological order.
Will do. I'll get that back to you. Don't worry. I'll have a PowerPoint presentation, a TED Talk prepared. It'll be great. I was talking
This
to my
is
partner.
now a Gnome X Cage charity, not charity, a fan.
We could do a charity
Stream.
stream about
No.
This is semi-related. As I was talking to my partner the other day about like how I want to like work on like being more relaxed as a person. I'm like, I want to be more of like a Keanu Reeves instead of always being a Nicolas Cage. And my partner was just
Wow.
like, no, you're just a Nick Cage though. And I was like, wow, fucking, I mean, you're right.
How dare they call you out though?
How dare
about
you
it?
agree with my own assessment of me?
I mean,
how dare you know me as a person.
hang on. I have to give them some props. They're a good partner for you if they're that comfortable and confident to call you out.
Yeah, I know.
It's wonderful.
They're like, oh no, this is your base setting. You've literally never managed to veer from the setting for more than 24 hours at a time. And I'm like, but one day I'm gonna become a like Zen surfer dude. Y'all just wait. Anyway, okay.
One day we
Speaking
will
of settings.
all be
Oh yeah,
shocked.
we haven't introduced everyone yet. Sorry.
Uh,
Are we?
we've introduced everyone,
Oh no, facts. We're doing facts. Okay.
but now we are going to go around the horn. I will give Hooper's facts at the end of each series. But we will go in the same order that we previously went. So, Gnome, what is your fact that you would like to add about Queensgate?
Okay. I have more questions first. I want to do this a little collaboratively because I want to touch on the magic system
Okay,
of the world. And I know this is going to be important.
fair. The magic system of the magic system of the system is elemental.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful, and you cast magic with the same pool that is your daily health point regeneration.
Okay, so here is my fact I would like to offer about Queensgate, which
Okay.
is that the most powerful houses are each represented by competing botanical gardens. Because in this world, a lot of the
Okay.
elemental magic pulled from the earth is done through the cultivation of strange flora and fungi.
Okay. So I love that. I knew this is me knowing gnome. I knew at least one of the facts would have to do with mushrooms.
I just had to. Technically, there are only a handful of mushrooms that you can actually cultivate. The saprotrophic ones, mycorrhizals, are too. You know what? Actually, fuck it. I add this to the world. They do cultivate mycorrhizal mushrooms, which means that they have proprietary forests that they have to make. Because mycorrhizal mushrooms can only grow with their like partner trees because they're symbiotes. So they literally have like whole trees and mini forests that they have to cultivate to grow some of these mushrooms.
You and my
Okay.
partner would become very good friends
I adore you. You were
because
like,
you're a mycophile.
yes.
Okay.
Also, you took. I had an idea. I already had an idea for a character I wanted to do, and you made it so much easier for me to pitch it eventually.
Yeah.
Fair
You
enough.
actually just made it a lot easier.
So I'm going to ask you to break that down into a sentence and do it a little bit slower so I can type it out real quick.
Okay. The most powerful houses in Queensgate each cultivate a botanical garden that they use as a magical power source. And they're very competitive with each other about how pretty their botanical gardens are. It's a status thing too. Okay, they cultivate magic and also use as status.
Okay. So I've got the most powerful houses in Queensgate each cultivate a botanical garden that they use as a magical power source, and these gardens are a source of status as well. I love that. And I will ask you directly, what do you see as the biggest impact that that would make on the world?
Um, the biggest impact that would make. I think it is culturally very significant in the roles that botanical imagery has in the fashion and architecture and art of this world, because plants and flowers and things are associated with power and status. That it is like kind of the creatives of this world really utilize that.
Oh, so here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you envision that like high society, like dances and whatnot, like balls, might have like the most rare and difficult to cultivate flowers being used as like jewelry?
Yeah, I could definitely say that, especially something that you pluck.
Yeah,
And then like you are now taking it because like you are showing that not only do I have this incredible, it's like I'm thinking of like, you know, like the tulip craze
yeah.
where like the people like the tulip trade. Like I'm kind of thinking like in that vein where it's like, oh, you got that tulip? Like it's like also like Pokemon cards a little bit. Like they're like, oh shit, a shiny? Like that's kind of the vibe.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
My blue
Uh,
shiny tulip is better than your red shiny tulip.
Yeah, like actually. Oh, so cool.
I just hearing that because English major nerd essentially. I don't know why, but that made me think of like, oh, if there's like a people from like powerful houses and something, and they have like this garden that they protect, and then you see somebody else with like a flower from their garden, kind of like how they used to give locks of hair to like signify, because I have my partners,
Oh my
like
god,
a
I'm
lot of my partners
imagining
here
this like
list, and
yeah,
I'm just
okay.
imagining doing that like with a flower from your magic garden.
Yeah. All right. Like imagine there's like a house feud that was started because they found
That's
one
exactly
family's
what I was
tulips
thinking.
in someone else's house and it was actually like a
Yes.
forbidden love affair.
Or you
Got
get
Romeo and
I
Juliet
at
love
mixed
the
up in
this.
here.
I love this. We have a fantastic foundation for which we are building this world. There's already so much flavor, and we've gotten 2 facts at this point. So we're going to go ahead, I think, and dig a little deeper. I don't know what pacing is on this kind of stream, so we're going to do our best, but we will go to Knox. What would you like to add to this growing world?
Okay, so I have questions. One, have you thought anything about like uh accessibility in this world?
I knew
That I was
that
going to ask
having you there,
this.
that you,
Are we
I have
typecast?
had a few thoughts because I thought about Queensgate because of the size of it. I don't think you're going to be able to do it in like one layer. So I had thought of like hex magic style elevators that would go between the levels. But I honestly wanted your input because you are the accessibility specialist in my life. So I figured, much like inviting Gnome on, I figured that we would get a fact about fungus. Inviting you on, I expected we would get a fact about accessibility.
We are typecast, or really, it's just a sign that Sin knows us very well. Okay. So going off the flower thing, then my tablet. Going off the flower thing, then you could have like crawling vines that like carry you to the levels to keep the
I
thing.
love that.
Like you hold on and it like could maybe like wrap around to make sure that you don't like fall off or anything. Like it's like a vine elevator.
I
And
love
now I'm just thinking about people using like vines as like knee braces. Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Love that. Oh my god, the fashion in this world.
Oh my god,
that'd
yes.
be
Wait, but that would make
incredible.
it like also something we don't always get in the real world. Cute like mobility aids and things like that. Like look at my very fashionable like flower knee brace. You like it? I
On
grew it myself as a magical bitch. Like
on the weird side of things, though, that means that people are likely making uh, living clothing.
bet.
Oh,
Oh my god, there's
so
like a whole can just adding on the mobility aid thing.
go for it.
Okay, because yes, so people are making this. That means there's probably a group of people who specialize because typically a plant dies when you like take it away from its root source. But we need this to serve as like an exoskeleton, like if we want something a little bit more powerful than just like, a rope, right? So it's like, what if it's essentially like, I'm thinking like almost like a kind of plant necromancy, but it's being used to support like the people.
I
I don't know
love
why I
that.
thought necroplancy. No.
Necroplancy.
But also that was a
I like
lot better
that.
than my thing, because I was thinking, you know how they have like there's people who actually like they get like peat moss or use something that's not peat moss. Peat moss is actually not sustainable. Okay. Anyways, so
Also
but
not
they get
moss.
like the plastic cage and they fill it with dirt or shit, and then they take the little baby plants, and they put it in and water it, and then it like forms into like the pole.
Oh
Imagine they do like I like your idea better though, but they could
no!
also
What
like
if
do
it's
that.
both?
Yeah, ¿por qué no los dos?
Well, because what if it's both? What if one is more of like an illicit kind of magic, and one is like a more like the sort of like cultivating it, this like living, like essentially what you're creating is a microbiome that moves with you in the world. Lots of work goes into that. So you've also got these like necroflora dealers on the side who will help you out.
Also, going off of what Alan said about living clothing,
Yeah.
I don't know why I imagined like a Met Gala because you said that it's elemental in general, right? It's not just plants.
Yes.
So I don't know why I imagined like a Met Gala with somebody wearing like I don't know a grass dress or something, and then they just go like and it rains, and then all of a sudden their like outfit blooms, like because they're
Conversely, if we're
fans.
also throwing this out there, there are a lot of plants that bloom or go into a sort of metamorphosis when exposed to things like fire and
Right.
rain. So you could also have pull essentially that girl on fire moment from Hunger Games and actually do it right.
Okay.
I love our brains.
These are all fantastic things. If you were to distill it down into the single sentence fact, what would you say is the part that you want to be immutable?
I am many things. Concise is not one of them. I Okay, I'm gonna say words and then I'll make it into a sentence that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Stream of conscious. I like the idea of the people using like elemental magic to aid accessibility features and that being normalized. And so like the plant magic being like the magical vine elevators like being one of it, like the knee braces and stuff. I like the idea that elemental magic and accessibility are intertwined in the fabric of Queensgate. I don't know if that made sense. Oh my god, I just imagined like when you're walking really far and then you know how people have like the cane the chair canes and then they pop it and it's a chair. I just imagine that but mushroom.
Amazing. And I mean, obviously, I don't know as much about plants as I do about fungi, but like there are specific fungi that react with fire, with water, with like ice and things like that. Um, that's really cool how you could like mix any of the botanical things with the other elements. I think that's
See,
such a
that's
good idea.
I'm the other way. I know a lot more about plants than I do about fungi.
Huh.
And so
So I have distilled this. I would like you to confirm that I got the spirit of what you wanted. Accessibility and elemental magic are entwined into the fabric of Queensgate, and advances in accessibility are treated with great respect.
yes, thank you for taking my Knoxness in sightseeing.
Most of those words actually came out of your mouth.
Hey!
Distilled Knox.
Pure distilled Knox.
Knox Light.
Oh, God.
Only here on Queensgate Chronicles. Follow and subscribe.
Oh, my God.
Always be plugging.
As long as we don't do what Pepsi did and do Crystal Knox. That's
They
bad on so many
didn't.
levels.
That
Bad on so
got
many
even
levels.
worse than I realized.
I thought
Moving
of
on from
one
that
thing. How many ways could that go? Oh,
Yeah. So, on from that fact, Shock, what would you like to add to this world?
I'm going to add in a bit of a. Would it be a political faction? Essentially put, there is a group that is not exactly recognized by the crown and the government that goes about the streets of the city at night searching for any breaches in the defenses of the city. Uh, they're officially a vigilante group, but they are a well-funded vigilante group.
Okay. Just a moment.
I'm right now trying to think of a good name for the group or what they're called.
The Queen's Proud Ones.
Oh no.
No, that's too on the nose.
Let me make sure that I've got the fact as you see it fit. There's a political faction which searches for breaches in the city's walls during the night, and they are a well-funded vigilante group.
Point of clarification.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not clarification, but it's still a point I'm going to make. They are well funded and are officially recognized as a vigilante group.
Are they funded by the city? Like, because wouldn't they be
Ultimately
like a militia then?
speaking, I want to say yes, but I didn't want to make it obvious. I wanted to keep it a bit of a thing that players would have found out. But,
Okay. So modified to they are can't delete the R, Sin. They are well funded and considered a vigilante group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like that. So the reason I didn't ask this question of Knox is because we had a large disability discussion around it, which I absolutely adore. So I will ask you, Shock, how do you see this affecting the world?
So the way I see it affecting the world is that there is a standing paranoia, even though supposedly the city is safe at all times, that nighttime is not the place for civilized folk. It's where only those who absolutely need to be outside are outside.
Okay. And you wanted to reflect that even in a world where there's supposed to be, a lack of danger, that a perceived danger still exists.
Yes.
I imagine something along the lines of when the gate closes, so do we.
Yeah, that I feel like that is probably a standing thing for a large part of the city. Like a lot of the main street facilities would probably follow that kind of logic. Is the citier places, the out of the way locations, the ones in the back alleys that remain open, maybe to service the torchbearers, the lanterners, whatever they end up being called, but they also serve those who go out at night for whatever reason, be it the necroflorists or general criminals or other individuals.
Oh my god, there would be some plants that would have to grow by moonlight.
So I was thinking the way it sounds, if you want to stick to the plant theme a little bit, Nightshade would be an interesting name for an organization like that.
Ooh.
I feel like Nightshade would be almost the illicit counterpart, like the organization they're trying to stop. Like that sounds like I feel like they would give themselves like a
Yeah.
nice noble name.
What
Yeah.
is it? I will divert to those that know things about this. What are some plants or fungus that they would thrive in the moonlight?
Oh, that's a
Oh.
great. I'm sorry, anybody?
Well, there's some that only grow in the moonlight. So you have evening primrose. You hold on. There's a list. I have a list. Night gladiolus and of course moonflower, which has a pretty flower name besides just moonflower, of course, because that's a little on the nose. Night blooming jasmine,
Jasmine's so pretty.
Casablanca lily, queen of the night,
You could
angel's
also
trumpet. Sorry.
Yeah, angel's trumpet. You could also think of nocturnal animals, because there are lots of great nocturnal animals that interact with these systems. I know a lot of the nocturnal birds, like nightjars and owls. Owls would be good for a guardian motif, something to do with owls.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the protecting trash pandas probably isn't as great of a name for such a
I was
noble
gonna say, aren't possums?
self-right. Yeah.
In another Queensgate, a Queensgate focused on comedy,
going
they are
with
100%
the
the Iron Trash Pandas.
Yeah.
If we are going with the animal theming for them, I could see the raccoons kind of being the derogatory slang term for them.
Oh, what if they call themselves, what is it, the gray wolves? Because that is a nocturnal animal. But then everyone who doesn't like them calls them the raccoons.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The problem is with the raccoons, that can lead into derogatory slang that can be kind of racist.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
in
That
real
is
life.
life.
Yeah,
Because that is
I kind of
that's
glossed over that.
yeah. Also, I just found out capybaras are apparently nocturnal.
So are gerbils. So that's powerful.
So are
But also-
flying squirrels.
Hold on. Gerbils?
Gerbils.
Listen, anything can be nocturnal as long as they don't have a sleep pattern.
Gerbil
Hence my
sounds
name.
like an excellent derogatory name.
The gerbils.
They call them the gerbils.
I listened to a podcast about circadian rhythms, and domestic house cats are the only known creatures without an established circadian rhythm that we've
That
observed.
would explain why mine
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Get the fuck off the door.
They have crepuscular hunting patterns, but they don't actually have crepuscular sleep patterns. They just sleep whenever they feel like it. They do what they want. Nobody
Yeah,
can
and
tell
for
a cat
some
what to
reason.
do.
Well, okay, I didn't mean close the door with you on the other side of it, dipshit. Okay, sorry. Yelling at my cat. That explains so much because when she wants to sleep, it's when I'm not sleeping.
Wait, there's okay, hold this. I'm just reading the Wikipedia article about nocturnal animals now. Hi. There's one called the paradoxical frog. Hey, that's his name. He's like, hi, I'm the paradoxical frog.
Fucking platypus? A platypus is nocturnal.
Yes, Perry is nocturnal. Why are you surprised by this?
Perry the nocturnal platypus.
Hold on. There's a creature. It's a lemur, but it's called an eye, which also feels like a great name for like a pseudo-military installment. Hey, we're the eye, and they look like such little gremlins. Y'all gotta see this, please.
I
Hey,
what
internet,
they look like.
internet.
Also,
Look up
the
these little
wombat.
guys. Do you allow links in chat?
I don't know.
Let's find out. All right, live a little. Click that link. Aye.
Nope.
It's just asterisks.
Shit.
Womp womp.
Why don't you send
Oh my god.
me the link?
There.
Just put it in
In there. Oh,
either
Where'd
some
they find this
DM
picture of me when I
or
wake up in the morning?
yeah.
yeah, it me. They just like me for real, for real. Ah!
There we go.
Why do they
It-
have so many fingers? What?
They don't
What?
have so many fingers. They just have some really gnarly fingers.
They're so bad. Hey God, I have some notes.
That's why they're only awake at night, so none of us have to actually see them.
Hey,
So
hey, God, can
I-
we not use AI generation anymore?
Yeah.
Look, you had some good ones with it, but can we stop?
Can we stop? Oh Lord. They hide in the
Okay.
night for fear of what to be perceived
So,
in all their wretches.
I think we
We found
found
the
our
result of
winner
God's
for
paint and
what
zip.
they're called by people who don't like them. The eyes.
Oh, they're very good.
Aye, aye, Captain.
This
I wonder. The Primrose was probably the one that I liked the most. What would you think of like the Primrose Owls?
I
Yeah.
want like
I
a
dig
little yeah.
Yeah, that works. It also kind of gives me an idea of what their heraldry would look like if they had it.
Yeah. I like it. We will establish more about this as we go.
Really quick, I'm
Uh,
sorry. When you said I'm sorry. My brain. When you said they helped with the heraldry, if they had it, I immediately went to like Very Odd Parents, and this is where my would go if I had it.
Oh my god. I love it.
Okay.
Alan. Save us.
So, I think the one thing that nobody's covered, which is probably the one thing you know me best for, is crime.
Okay.
There is a thriving Undercity, and this Undercity is probably got a lot of the runoff from the magic from the upper city. So it's going to be toxic. You're going to have just destructive plants. Human testing goes on down there probably. It's just gnarly and nasty. And they try to do most of their operations at night when the vigilantes are up. They also have a prominent household that is fighting with the upper city.
Out of curiosity, would this Undercity kind of inadvertently extend beyond the walls of the city?
A little bit, yes.
I have another question. Is the Undercity literally underground?
Yes.
Oh, because that makes even more sense with like the
Okay.
runoff.
That's what I'm
So-
saying. Like you get the runoff from the chemicals and the negative magic, so to say, from the gardens. It goes
Especially 'cause
into the wells and
I
down
had
into
an
the
i-
Undercity.
I had an idea where one family would have a poison garden.
Yes.
Imagine having to deal with the runoff from the poison garden.
So I want to make sure I've distilled this because I had already thought of this as a possibility. So I'm excited that it's going to be added. But
What can I say? I like my gangs. I like my crime.
Look,
there
I gave
is a thriving criminal undercity, which is outside of the Queen's reach.
Yeah, I can
Feel
dig
like
that.
that. Feel
Yeah.
like that covers what you were thinking.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, Chuck?
I I mean, the fact that I made a vigilante group, it makes it very, very helpful that there is an actually active threat inside the town that justifies their existence, however tenuously it does.
Now, interestingly, the criminal element, any crimes that happen, part of the idea about the Queen is that when someone commits a crime within her sphere, they are immediately shunted out of the sphere.
Like out of the city? Like you're
Yes.
Like beyond the walls?
you catapult them?
Yes. No. You
Oh.
safely
Wait till I get to my fact.
safely teleport. Well, yes. Now
Is that
You
if
get
they're
swallowed
caught?
by a giant.
No,
bug.
this sounds
No.
like it's a
it is
automatic
if
trigger.
it
You
happens.
break the law, it happens.
Oh, okay.
There's a book
So-
like that actually, where every time you commit a crime, you get a second shadow.
Interesting.
There's also, if any of you
Right,
have
sorry.
ever seen Red Dwarf, there was the Justice Zone. Anywhere, any crime you committed happened to you.
Yeah, in this instance, it's more of crimes that are committed. Once they are committed, the committer of the crime is removed. However, if there is an undercity where crime essentially can happen, there would be their own types of justice in that situation, obviously. Even
Mhm.
criminals have their own code.
Murder.
But
Murder.
but I love the idea that we have this combination of things going on.
Two things really quick. One, I'm glad that the four things you expected from us, the four elements, mushroom, disabled, crime, politics, also
Four genders. We got them all.
the four genders, gotta catch them all.
100%. And
Chat, tag yourself.
just
Are
Tag
you
yourself.
mushrooms, crime, disability rights, or politics?
Listen, the politics of mushroom crimes
The
is
politics of
important for the
mushroom crime.
disabled, okay?
Yeah, that's true. Depends on the mushroom, all right?
Listen, we're all connected. But also, I really want the way that they get taken out, because somebody mentioned Little Shops of Horrors. I really want you to just feed them to Audrey too. And then they get through
Oh my god.
magic.
So
They
there's like
end up on
definitely,
the other side.
like you said, there's like definitely a house that has like a poisonous like botanical garden, but there's probably a house that has like a carnivorous botanical garden.
And that was actually in the Undercity.
Oh, the carnivorous plants are only in the Undercity?
Yes,
Ooh.
because you have life and things growing to be beautiful down below all this runoff created carnage. So things had to learn how to survive. So it started eating everything. You have carnivorous plants. You've got things that cause things to dissolve, things that turn, living tissue into jelly. Shit like that.
I have added in there's a thriving criminal undercity fueled by magical runoff, which is outside of the Queen's Reach, because I think that is an important part of what you said.
The head of the crime family's name is Seymour.
Yes.
Okay. There is a mushroom I want to tell you about. It's related. It's
Okay.
the
I'm here. Go for it.
Okay, it's called the red cage mushroom. And it literally looks, it's like a stinkhorn, and it looks like this weird segmented cage thing. And it smells like dead bodies because it basically attracts carrion that way. That is how it exists.
Oh my god, wait! Are you the person who posted the Twitter thread of a bunch of mushroom facts?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that looks like the alien tentacles?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know which one you're
Do you
talking
think this could be like an emblem for the underworld? like the red cage.
Ooh.
They're
The Red Cage is a really good name for a criminal organization. I'm just
Like-
going to say that right now.
Clathrus Ruber isn't as good, but I will put it in chat in case anyone wants to look up this very.
It is in our hearts. And also, this is a
For
fantasy
whatever
game.
reason, Ruber does sound like a good name for the nominal leader.
Yeah, like
His
this is a
name-
fantasy name. That could definitely be their name.
His name is Ron's Ruber instead of Hans Gruber. German and played by Alan Rickman.
Also, one thing about the red cage mushroom is that it does eat decomposing material. Like that is how it survives. So it is a decomposer, which would be great for the
Genuine
runoff.
question. Isn't that how mushrooms work? Or do
Oh,
I have mushrooms
thank you
wrong?
so much for asking. There are 3 main kinds of mushrooms. So you've got saprotrophic, which are the decomposers, and they eat like dead vegetation. A handful will eat dead like meat, but most of it's vegetation. And then you've got symbiotes, which are like the mycorrhizal networks. So those are the ones that actually are fed by trees and also feed trees. And that's how they don't decompose. They just like work with trees primarily. And then you've got parasites. And those are the ones like the cordyceps that we know and love for their fictionalization in The Last of Us. And often, usually the parasites actually just grow on trees.
So, friendly life advice for chat. Always try to find a partner that will talk about you like Gnome talks about mushrooms.
I have that. My partner does that a lot. So yeah.
My partner like actually did that. He does that sometimes when I don't want him to. But was like, his brother asked me, "Oh, Knox, do you know what D&D is?" Not knowing about all of this.
I
And I was gonna be like,
remember.
I've
this
heard of that.
vividly.
Oh my god, Hazel, find your chill and fucking use it. I'm sorry.
But real quick, Gnome, you missed one type of mushroom.
Mm.
They're God, what was it? His name is Bach. He and mushrooms are very similar. They're both decomposers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I did miss those ones.
And now we're moving on from Alan.
Yeah.
Bye.
Alan is banned from ever coming back on stream. It only took one stream, less than 200 words, and Alan got banned.
My name's Gurney.
You didn't
No,
even meet
there's
the
where
word
the
limit.
ban happens.
It was
Okay.
coming, so I always pouring the shot.
So, Hooper, who was not able to be here, did provide some facts, which I've distilled down. The first of Hooper's facts is within the heart, or actually beneath. So this is in the Undercity. Beneath the heart of Queensgate, there's a hidden fountain rumored to be tied to the Queen's immortality. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun one.
I think my fact's going to add more to the underground.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think that might tie these 2 worlds together.
Okay.
The Undercity controls the the fountain. Oh god.
Or it's like
Ascend-
unknown whether they know where it is, but like
Yeah.
that's something we'll discover.
That's fair. I like the direction that we're going. I feel like the fountain definitely that creates a stake
Mhm.
that is intriguing. And this is my second fact. We'll give both of these right in succession. These are the 2 facts. The one that I first gave and the one that I am giving now are the 2 that everyone knew, because I needed this fact to be certain so that I could pay for the logo in the upper left to be made.
Nice.
But the seventh fact is Queensgate has 100-foot walls and a single enormous gate that opens each dawn and closes at dusk, protecting anyone within the walls and dooming anyone outside of the walls. And that is one of those that I love ambiguity in settings. There are probably people that live outside of the walls, but any settlement that would be large enough to be like under protection would get the ire of the forces that we have not talked about.
What are they?
Oh, we get to come up with
There's
them.
still
That's the thing.
5 more facts, Gnome.
Oh, okay.
This is
If
very
you
10
want-
candles of you, Sin.
Thank you, Nox. That is the exact system that I derived this from.
Oh my god!
I love 10 candles.
I
Yes, many of the things within the Queensgate system are derived from other systems. The big ones being that the fact rules are derived from 10 candles. The dice rolling mechanic is derived from a combination of World of Darkness and a game that I once backed on Kickstarter called Abstract Dungeon, which no one is going to have heard of. That's totally all right, but its system has like lived rent-free in my head, so I turned it into something for this. So yes, we are building on a lot of other systems, and one of them is in fact 10 candles. So we have one large gate, and this is where we get into the magic system as well, because a 100-foot tall gate, you are either going to have like steampunk level technology in order to move that, or a style of hex magic type of technology. So there are
Not necessarily. Given if you had enough time to build it, you could still manage to build a 100-foot wall.
it's aliens.
I do not subscribe to that. With enough time and manpower, yes, you can still build the pyramids with ancient technology. You don't. No,
This
aliens
is
not
But I
fair.
there.
think like literally moving them every day would be really hard.
Yeah. The mechanics of movement is the main thing that I'm talking about, because the weight of them. And
See, that's why you catapult like thousands of people onto the lever.
Yes. We really need to get back to
It's
the
like,
human
what's-
catapults.
we are
What's your-
apparently going to get yeet into this world in one way or another.
I
do
mean,
your
back
parents
and
do for
forth
work?
is easier
My-
than turning.
That's true.
Big
But
people
the
turn.
idea of them is that they are these giant, basically what would be cold iron, unworked iron walls that keep out magic.
Okay. I
Or
would
keep
like
out specific kinds of magic.
I actually do have a question as a metallurgist.
Go for it.
Cold steel, cold iron, black iron, has a tendency to rust. That means that they have to be constantly replaced, correct? Because it cannot be repaired with magic because it repels magic.
In this situation, if you look at the logo, which I will, well, you can see it on the stream in the upper left hand. There is rust that is happening from the bottom up of the gate. And there are questions as to how long the gate might last.
That's why you gotta ship a Theseus it.
Do we
It's
know?
very hard to ship a Theseus a solid metal plate. Unless it's not a solid
Well,
metal plate.
so cold iron is actually, if you reheat it multiple times, it will make it more brittle, but it is a way of removing rust and preventing it from completely deteriorating.
So they probably have been doing the care that they can to it over the course of this time.
I love this idea that like whatever the fire mage faction is like advocating to like refire the gates to remove the rust, but this in itself will make it more brittle. So versus it sounds like, you know, you would have different views, like almost like philosophical views informing the management of this very important object.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got like a group of people who are waiting for the gate to crumble. Like, because if you think about it, it's like, well, treating the gate would help destroy the gate. We should all just, you know, let
People
the gate
live and
let
rust, you know?
let
Like,
rust.
rust in peace, man. Like,
Wow.
I am here for it.
Got him. But yeah, I love this. The part of the idea of bringing together people from various backgrounds is because not everyone is going to have these kinds of knowledge. But knowing some of the logistics of it allows me to craft those political factions. I love it.
also, just like folklore thing is, yeah, I mean, you know that cold iron is like how you ward off like every single thing.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's always fun.
And please continue to not define anything outside of the walls, because that means that I get to let my nightmares be the ones that exist out there. Anyhow, so that is our 7th.
Someone
fact.
define outside the wall.
I got one.
No, I'm kidding. I want to see Sin's like horror brain like shine. That means like your brain's the horror. I meant the horror inside your.
We get
Hi,
it.
buddy.
It's great that
My
the captions
brain.
Say
keep
horror.
reading horror as horror, which is very funny to me. They're like, Sin's horror brain. It's...
My brain will likely need to be donated to medical science because of the demented nature of what I come up with.
I love that. Cute.
It's fine. It is an aspect of me. And I love me for who I am. Horrors and all. Speaking of horrors, Anne,
Hi.
you get another fact.
Want to talk about death?
Of course I want to
Always.
talk about death.
So, Queensgate has incredibly elaborate death culture. So, ossuaries and charnel houses form a lot of the landscape. There are elaborate like displays. The death doulas and other death like professionals are very prominent members of society, and they have like very elaborate funerary rituals. And part of this, though, that part of what's being concealed literally below the surface is the closed catacombs that are underground.
Oh my god, Nox's flapping intensifies.
You want to talk about plants and dead stuff?
Were you about to create that as a fact?
No, but okay. So hi, okay. So I have this thing where any game that I can, I will make Dia de los Muertos canon.
Do it.
I'm making it canon.
Orale.
Please make Dia de los Muertos canon.
Canon.
Please.
Of course.
That means Latinos are canon.
Latinos are canon.
Hey, we're everywhere.
Exactly. You can't get rid of
There
us.
You
are
can't get rid of
a
us.
diverse canon of racial groups, and none of them are by proxy for, fantastical races.
They're just real people there? Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Nah. Sounds fake.
Okay.
It's almost like you don't have to make racist caricatures in your fantasy games. Who would have thought? Now wizards. Anyway.
Impossible. Can't be done.
Why do you think the Queensgate system is getting made? So, an elaborate death culture. I love this because something behind the hood in the Queensgate system, there are 6 schools of magic.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize if you're hearing a cough. My partner had the Rona,
Oh no!
and she has had a cough for literally like several weeks.
Oh, the worst.
Feel better,
Feel
Sin's
better, partner.
You are getting well wishes from people, just so you know. Please don't respond.
Or do. Live your life.
Also, I
I
just
mean, we
looked
would
at the
appreciate responses. That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Also, I just looked at the calendar. We're 2 days after Dia de los Muertos, and I'm so sad about that for the November stream. But you have the opportunity to make Knox very happy by having that stream be have Dia de los Muertos. You have the opportunity. I will give you so many knives in exchange for Dia de los Muertos stream.
How much do you assume that I will need the knives? Because
I want to
so
out-trauma
many
you.
implements. This is true.
I thought the whole idea was we were going to out-trauma each
Yes. We are GMing for each other, and the goal is for us to out-trauma each other.
I love that.
Because I received the many gifts of knives from Sin, and now Sin gets to know even more than they already do, because I have made Sin very concerned about me many times just by talking about my life. But now I get to show Sin just how fucked up my head is.
Cool. While we're being fucked up, I want to say that part of the way this city documents its history is in ossuary arrangements, the way people do with tapestries.
Ooh.
That sounds fun. Like I just go to the archive to learn about what happened in the past. JK, it's a pile of bones that you have to know how to read.
No, I want to be in a campaign with you.
Oh my god.
Your brain.
I only bring together the highest vintage of friends.
You cultivate the weird ones.
Yeah.
I appreciate being considered a vintage.
I am
Like a 70s.
and a very good one at that.
Chablis.
Thank you very much.
Shock is in the process of pickling right now.
I'm only 4 shots in.
Wait, have you been taking them? I haven't even seen that.
Where?
Knox,
He's been slowly drinking.
Wait, Sin, did you
we have been at this for so long. I have apparently been sneaking, taking my medicine in every stream
Did you do
that
it?
Knox has been in with me 30 minutes ago.
What the fuck did you do?
I mean, seriously.
I watched him do it. Watched
Really?
them do
I
it.
didn't
Yeah.
see anything.
Wait, you saw? You all saw? I have no. Okay, y'all. I have watched VODs back, and I have been like, okay, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it. I have been in 10 episodes with you. I have still never seen it.
Been in 10 episodes and a world building stream.
Wow.
And still you've yet to see it. I thought I was the most obvious I've been in a long time. Here's Shock holding up the shot glass to make sure we know.
Wait, when did you hold it up? What?
Knox!
This is why I miss my post
Okay.
stop. Listen, my real life perception is a nat one.
Trying to make sure, Gnome, that I got your fact. Queensgate has an elaborate death culture, including a Day of the Dead holiday and tapestries made of relics.
Okay, not literal tapestries. Like I
Okay.
think like part of the city's history is documented in ossuaries. So ossuaries are like bone houses. Like instead of like in like the Paris catacombs where they like stack the bones up, but it's underground. So that's what they used to have in the before times in the city, but then they closed those for reasons unknown. Unknown, the catacombs are closed. And now they have ossuary houses which are on the surface, which are also bone stacks. But in these bones, the ways they are arranged is actually documenting the histories. And like
Okay.
it is like a language to itself, the way people might document their history in a tapestry or in a coded floral arrangement, which they also do here.
I mean, that also brings in like the language of flowers and stuff like that too,
We love
because
I
there was a flower language.
yes.
I know. I love flower
But this is like the language of bones.
Okay. And here is I can
And
bring
that's all
in
one fact.
some of the part of Queensgate as a system. I think I started in on this and got sidetracked. There are 6 schools of magic. The 4 classic elements: earth, water, fire, air, and then 2 other elements: life and death.
Yes.
So the fact that death is a big part of the culture makes sense in a world where it is one of the 6 schools of magic.
And like also when I say a death culture, I feel like people in this city don't fear death the way that like our culture does. Like it's like very prominent in society. Like it's like open caskets for days. Hey, you want a sky burial? Live a little. Like people have open conversations about it in like a way that is different. And
I'll
probably
add
yeah.
I'll add elaborate and healthy death culture.
I mean, healthy feels judgmental. I'll just say elaborate and open.
Okay.
Also, that does tie in with Dia de los Muertos, though. That does tie in with having a Day of the Dead.
That's what I was saying.
It's a celebration of.
Have you read the book From
Yeah,
Here to
but
Eternity?
also, I'm going to.
Oh
It's
my god,
on my
read it. It'll
TBR. Oh
change
my
your
god.
life. Read it. Buy a copy because you're
That
gonna need to bookmark it and highlight and circle
I
it. Yeah.
also
I
want
feel
to
like
read
the best thing
Stiff
that I've
and
done
Spook
is
by
bring
Mary
together
Roach.
Gnome and
Oh
Nox.
yes. Such a
Yes.
good one. Spook. I really liked From Here Till Eternity though. It was like it's my favorite death book.
I
And
need to
that's
check
saying
out when my
something.
cat eat my eyeballs because
I was less of a
you've
fan
seen
of that
her.
one. But do you read When Smoke Gets in Your Eyes?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
going to, but I couldn't deal with death this year.
Start valid.
yeah.
Start
Fair.
with that. Start From Here Till Eternity. Start there.
Okay.
And I
Also,
do
question:
want
Can I
to-
double major in death and in plant?
Yes, life and death are you would want to be an expert in alleviation magic, which alleviation has 2 specialties: life and death.
Can I do
And
death and plant?
life would be, well, death and plant, life, plant.
I feel
Awesome.
I feel like you could have such cool combinations of magic because if you had like death and earth, it could be like the decomposers and like
Oh yeah.
the nurturing of the soil and things like that. And you could have like life and earth, and that's like the botanical gardens. And like you could have like all these different, you could have like life and fire, and it'd be so cool. Yeah.
Also, I'd like to rewind and pretend I made this joke earlier when we were talking about the bone language. You give somebody an arm bone to tell them that you find them very humorous. Okay, anyways, next.
I was actually going to say, because you're talking about books about death, does that mean when you take notes in one of these, you're making a death note? I'll be here all week, everybody.
Oh my god, wait. So if paper
No, you
comes
won't.
from if paper
You won't be
comes from
invited back
trees-
on.
Yeah.
If paper grows on trees, that means paper has tree which
not
means
grow on
it
trees.
has
Sorry, I don't know who told you that. That was real. I wish that's not where paper comes from.
paper.
It is
Paper
of
is-
trees, just not grown.
Paper
from.
is trees. Soil trees, people.
I'm sorry, I'm the one telling you this.
I'm so
I
sorry.
woke up at 4:30. Okay, it is 9:30. I woke up at 4:30 and worked until 7:30. Fuck off!
Also, for the record, I do want to
Should I be
clarify
drinking for you?
something.
It sounds like
Wait,
I should
I-
be drinking for you.
Can I get a beer?
Yeah. Go get a
Do you have
beer.
any Dos Equis?
Hey,
I'm Canadian.
How about a Puppers then?
do you not have Latinos in Canada or something?
Nowhere near the same like population distribution. It's a
Listen,
very different.
you don't
very different
you don't need Dos Equis if you have Puppers and a Gus and Brew.
I don't know what these things you're saying mean.
Also, when I moved to the East Coast, my grandfather did tell me to ask my boyfriend if they had Latinos in Virginia and Maryland.
What?
I swear to God,
Because we're from California.
y'all, I promise
like-
I'm not racist. I'm just Canadian. People get mad at me when I don't speak Spanish, and I'm like,
No,
we don't
no,
even
no.
have.
I mean, French would be more common.
I do
yeah.
speak
Most
French.
places.
But you're fine. Knox, back to you. What?
Yeah.
We're from California, man.
It
But
doesn't matter.
Hey.
Why would you assume there's not Latinos over here on the East Coast?
I didn't. No, not me. My grandfather.
That sounds like a grandfather thing to say.
it
But for
does.
real though, like when I moved out here to Minneapolis, because I'm also originally from LA.
I'm from
I had-
East LA.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And and so like when I moved out here, I had a bunch of people asking me, "Hey, so what's the Latino culture like?" And I'm like, it's different.
See,
Back to
okay.
what I was hoping to clarify.
Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry.
fine. When I said healthy death culture, I meant healthy in comparison to the United States culture of death, which is very unhealthy.
Do you want to
So
hear
that-
something
yeah.
interesting about death culture?
Yeah.
The rates of cultural mycophobia and cultural fear of death, that is like a 1-to-1 ratio. Like generally, the more scared your culture is of mushrooms, they're also unwilling to talk about death. And honestly, it's the English to blame. That's the common denominator. It's
That
always
makes
it's
a lot of
always,
sense.
it's always the fucking English. That like we hate dead stuff and mushrooms because it reminds us of dead stuff.
Was it the English that were also scared of tomatoes, or was that the French?
What?
That was Europe in general.
Scared of
Europe in
tomatoes?
general.
Who is?
Well, yeah, because it grows from nightshade. It's part of the nightshade family.
It was actually because of also because at the time they used a lot of pewter and silver eatingware, and the
the
acids in
acids from
tomato react to that in a very negative way.
I forgot
Really?
about that. Yeah, it makes it extremely toxic.
Oh shit! Can I tell you
Well-
my favorite nightshade fact? Okay, no, I want to hear about the tomatoes first.
So yeah, they had a legitimate reason to be afraid of tomatoes.
Is it kind of like how vampires couldn't see themselves in mirrors because mirrors had silver?
Yeah,
And so
because
vampires could probably see themselves in modern mirrors.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
So silver does actually have a bit of an antimicrobial effect to it. And it was because of that, unknowingly, of course, that they assumed silver had purifying properties. So they assumed from that a entity with no soul wouldn't have no reflection in a silver-backed mirror.
Okay.
I'm Italian. We love tomatoes. It's like our whole thing.
And yet you only started doing that like a century ago.
Hey, that's what Italy does, man. They're like, hey,
Well,
think
that-
we invented these noodles. You heard about them?
I was gonna say I was gonna say that and crucify some dude from the Middle East.
Yeah, literally, this is Italy's you guys. Italy has gotten such a excellent PR.
And then hanging them everywhere. Did you see that thing where it's like being a vampire is just a list of anti-Italian rules?
I'm gonna
Damn.
die.
Garlic. Yeah. They do
Shock is thinking about it.
salt because Italians do salt really heavily. And then you like throw salt to
Can't,
the
can't go near a
can't go through
crucifix.
that my family has a
Only
crucifix and a Da
European
Vinci and a map
vampires, I
of
will
Italy in
grant you
every
that.
room.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Yeah.
we
I
have.
think vampires season. Okay, never mind. So do you think vampires like season where they're gonna bite? I'm done. I'm sorry.
I don't know where we're going.
Or like, do you think like do you
Okay,
think of like yeah?
I am going to take my responsibility as the sensible, reasonable person and try to get us back on track.
The funny thing
That's the
is,
brain cell.
I know the entire joke that Knox was going with.
I don't. You came with that
Seasoning the
Knox
person you
autocomplete.
bite.
Do you season them
Yeah, that was the
on
question.
the inside?
I
On
mean,
the outside.
But
So
you don't
the
eat
on
the
the inside would
outside?
make more sense.
Oh
But,
no, like
so,
a tequila
well,
shot, like where you like lick the
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that like the rim on a margarita. That's how I just
Yeah.
Or I
give
mean,
them
if
a
you want to
lick.
season them inside, you feed them some really you'd feed them some seasoned food. I would assume.
Hey, are
Which
there
would go in
vampires
with
in
the
our world?
whole
Can we,
hospitality
some-
rules that vampires
Hey,
have.
that's a good question. I don't know if there are, but there are 4 facts left.
Hold on, I'm gonna run and grab a beer. Y'all
Yeah,
can
go.
be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yes,
fine. I
yes.
promise you.
After like 7 shots, you can go grab a beer.
Have you
No,
had
I
3
haven't.
more since I started talking?
Yes.
Knox.
Hi. I'm so sorry.
Speaking of 3 more. Well, 4 more. We have 4 more facts to go.
Jokes
What
on
would you like?
Jokes on you. I'm the one that's not going to be invited back. It's too late. We already confirmed session 0. Okay. Because this is supposed to be a serious campaign with a dash of comedy, like a light seasoning, if you would. I would leave the outside untouched because I want Sin's nightmare fuel to be unadulterated, unfiltered Sin nightmare fuel. So I'm just gonna leave I'm sure I'm gonna regret that, but I'm gonna focus on the inside.
Let the
city.
record show you had a chance.
I still have a wait. Actually, question, because can I say something that you told Cast that we get to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said we each get to pick a fact.
Yes, you do get to pick a fact. Each of the cast members will get to pick 1 fact about the campaign.
Yeah, I get another fact then.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You're really min-maxing friendship here.
That is the very heart and soul of friendship. Min-maxing the fuck out of it.
that's great because when you see my builds in games, they're not good. So it's nice to know I'm min-maxing on something in real life. You know.
Oh, hey, Shuck. I'm not getting your subtitles. Could you refresh
That
your...
is weird. Okay, hang on. Let me see.
Oh, wait. There they are.
My
Never mind.
caption ninja did restart at one point.
Okay.
Like,
I think we're good
Shocks
now.
might have.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought Shock froze, but you just stood really still. That's
Yeah, I
impressive.
do that.
That is impressive.
Speaking of
Oh my
impressive,
god. Okay, sorry. So very ADHD. Okay.
you're fine.
Let's see. We done magic. We done accessibility. I could do. Okay. Okay. We've done crime. We've done politics. We've done cultural things. What other aspects? Do animals have magic? Animals have magic.
Was that a question, or
That's my question.
I would say that any creature that canonically has access to stress would have the ability to do magic.
Then yes,
And
That means
animals
animals
the,
feel stress.
the stress mechanic requires sentience.
Really?
Are you saying my
So
cat's not sentient?
Why are the animals getting stressed? Are you making them do taxes?
There are other things in life besides taxes and bureaucracy that causes stress.
Yeah, like me talking
I don't
for
know,
20 minutes.
but to answer your question, if there were a sentient animal, they would be capable of casting magic.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna step away from that because then I literally wrote a 5-page paper that was essentially a book review with lots of like philosophical theory about what it means to have a soul, and I will start talking about that the way that Gnome talks about mushrooms. So
I love that.
we're gonna
Please.
put that in a little box and just knocks don't open yet. Okay, no Pandora, we don't know her. Okay, so
I mean, I'm good friends with Pandora. What's wrong with Pandora?
oh, she's great. However, I don't want to. She can hold the box. It's okay. Wait,
Yeah, no.
certainly
She
that's a
has
bad idea.
she has box related trauma. We don't let her hold boxes anymore.
I thought it was a jar. Anyway, so,
Depends on the telling, actually. Fascinatingly.
see, that's why translations are important.
Oh,
Okay.
Also, the golden apple, sometimes a tomato in retellings. Learn that on my recent deep dive on fear of tomatoes.
Wait, really?
Your recent deep dive that happened during this episode.
I'm leaving the stream with 45 Wikipedia tabs open.
Only 45? I have not
I'm
done my job right then.
driving.
Oh my god.
That's a
I
good
love it.
night.
Ooh. No, Knox, that's silly. No,
Put it on
be
the
good.
outside. See if it looks good in the light.
Here's a question. Would you
Yes.
like to skip
Yes.
yours for now
Yes.
and come back?
Thank you.
Okay. No worries. Shock.
All right. So I've had a bit of an idea brewing in my mind since we brought up the fact that there were catacombs. And you
Yeah.
said they were closed.
Yes.
Did you already have a reason in mind for why they were closed?
I'm gonna say like the official message is catacombs. What catacombs? Don't worry. Stop asking so many questions. Go to the beautiful ossuary.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because I have an idea of why they were closed. And it wasn't because they got too full.
Go for it.
So, we are in a city full of magical plants and actively cultivating and experimenting with said magical plants. What would happen if, say, said experiments went right in the worst possible ways? And now you have a very virulent plant that feasts on dead materials and has a habit of using the excess materials, a kink process, to create more dead material.
Okay.
I don't understand.
So you are suggesting that magical experiments have created a virulent plant that is carnivorous and feeds on carrion.
hmm And it uses the materials of the dead organisms that cannot digest, i.e., bones and similar material, to craft constructs, weapons, and whatnot that roam inside the catacombs with the intended
Bones.
purpose of creating more dead material to eat.
Audrey 2 meets Undertale.
Bone man.
Hmm.
Bone men are now going to be a canonical monster, and they are going to be terrifying.
Okay. Just like I love this lore. Can I offer you something to add to it too?
Go right ahead. I would love that.
So the way the Paris catacombs were made was basically Paris, the graveyard at the heart of the city, just got too fucking full. So they dug everyone up and wheeled them out in the night and then put them in the catacombs. And then they had like one guy like arranging them and doing his little bone art piece and stuff. So,
Hmm.
like, what if it was kind of like, what if part of the catacombs settle down camera? No, but I did it. I did it. Ah,
Wait, why is your camera moving?
goodbye.
Do you have a ghost? What is
What the
happening?
hell?
Okay, listen. I have a gimbal camera and it's very cool when it behaves, but I naively set it to react to hand gestures, forgetting that I'm fucking Italian. So I'm doing this and it's like, what are we doing, boss? And it goes on its little journey out there. And I'm like, ah, shit. We're lost
Italian
again.
and autistic.
I know.
Like,
Ah,
Exhausting.
the
I would
camera
like to
doesn't stand a
apologize if you can
chance.
hear the dogs in the background. I am currently babysitting my brother's animals. My cat does not like this arrangement.
Tell the dogs I love them. Tell other Knox I also love them.
Yes, for chat, yes, my cat is named Nox, and I've been trying to avoid the confusion that would naturally cause in this stream.
Really quick, is your cat also Nox or Knox?
Knox.
Ah, okay.
And yes, I suppose you can still spell after 8 shots.
Hey,
How am I drunker than you and I haven't had any alcohol?
Because I can hold my liquor.
I
Oh.
did finish. I am almost done with my second bottle of Dr. Pepper.
Oh, turn it up. That's 2 Dr. Peppers.
Give me 2 Dr. Peppers.
Okay.
I know, that's what I was thinking. No, but what if the original, like, like, the creation of the catacombs was part of this, like, experimentation you were saying, where literally they went
Hmm.
and, like, collected all the corpses and were like, "Oh, we're building a catacomb. Don't worry about it." So maybe it was never public. It wasn't even just closed, like, it was never open. Or you think it was closed after? What do you
I'm
think?
thinking it was closed after. Like the
Okay.
catacombs were a thing. Like they were an extensive network built for the express purposes of the funerals and holding the dead because of the open funeral practices and whatnot. But at some point, there was an experiment, may have gotten loose, may have been deliberately put in there for one reason or another. But whatever, it got incredibly out of hand, and an effort to try and control the damage, they closed the catacombs completely.
Yeah.
But it only barely worked. Like,
I have an idea for how the experiment got there. Because I've been thinking about my facts.
Please make this place more deadly and dangerous for your character.
Hey, I said I was gonna give you knives. No,
True.
so again, English nerd. So I've been trying to think of how to get my favorite book from Lamort to Arthur, which I call the one where Lancelot does fucking stupid shit. And somehow take one of those things and put it in there. I think it would be really interesting if there was like a necro or mancer, well, not like a death magic lady who
mhm.
was trying to lure one of the queen's knights into the catacombs to keep them there as like to like really like fucked up attempt to like keep them there, romance them, and this experiment from hell is the result of that. And this is me ripping off Chapel Perilous and the witch Heloise.
So you're saying that this plant was rose based to begin with?
Yeah, or I mean, again, flower language. We could look into like the like. It doesn't necessarily have to be
It
roses.
doesn't have to be roses, but that is the that would get across the whole attempt at a
Mhm.
romance aspect
But
of it.
like
Also,
because
roses have thorns,
Mhm.
and so
and
that could also add to the deadliness.
and as we know, rose thorns are known to animate Bone Man and make Skellington go little dance, play xylophone riffs. That was a
So it
joke.
could, so it could be like,
Be careful, your jokes could become canon.
so it could be like the result of this really fucked up attempt to woo the knight, um, and maybe the after being rejected by the knight, because they're like, the fuck is this? Um, she, her magic maybe went a little bit like with emotion, and that's when fucky shit started happening.
So
Fair
what I'm
enough.
hearing is a necroflorist who had a crush on the Queen's Knights tried
Hmm.
to create a special plant to wow the knight. It
Hmm.
backfired drastically. She they let's be fair here. Let's go with they because we don't know for sure one way or
Yeah.
another. They understandably reacted very, very poorly,
Mhm.
but that uh, high emotions and high magic do not mix very well. So Plant Experiment goes even more haywire and becomes
Mhm.
this massive threat that nobody can really effectively deal with. So their best solution is seal it in the catacombs, seal the catacombs, and forget it exists.
Yeah, and I like the idea that maybe the plant thing knows its purpose, like has like this weird form of sentience from that emotion, and is now roaming the catacombs looking for this knight.
Well, what if that's why okay, if it's like a perversion of a love spell essentially. Like
Hmm.
so if maybe in this world magic works based off intent, and then the plants with their symbolism or floral language or whatever can be used to amplify that intent. Um, but because her intent was a little messed up, it all went and she was a little off thing. It didn't work the way she wanted to. It went haywire. But maybe because this monstrosity is a being that was built off the idea of companionship, that's why it's trying to basically kill everybody is because it like is
It's
friends.
Frankenstein's monster.
It's making friends basically. It's a decomposer looking for more dead bodies to befriend.
Hi,
So,
friend. Let me take your life.
I love this. I would like to make sure that I got the fact as you intended, Shock. Magical experiments have created virulent, sentient, carnivorous plants that roam the closed catacombs of the Undercity, feasting on carrion and creating fresh kills.
Mm-hmm. I would also like to point out that my horror roots is mainly derived in Dead Space, and the fact that necromorphs will always be a thing I would try to make.
What's that?
Or roots.
It's the type of dead in Dead Space.
Necrom
Necromorphs.
Necromorphs. They're creatures that you have to kill by dismembering them.
Gross. I love it.
Gross, I love it is exactly the vibe.
Yay!
Uh
What
yeah,
I'm so excited. The like setting that we've created is so evocative
I
in terms
know.
of like we've got these like giant walls and gates, these like these elaborate gardens, these spooky ossuaries, these catacombs with like mysterious beings in them. Oh, I want to ask about the catacombs. Is anyone watching and monitoring the situation, or do they just like lock it, throw away the key, and be like, "Sucks to suck"?
I really like the idea that there isn't anybody watching it, and it's just a pure they locked it, threw away the key, and just tried to memory hold the entire thing.
We don't
I
talk
think
about Bruno.
even I think even beyond the idea of locking it and is there are ways into the catacombs, and there are likely people that try to brave the catacombs for riches,
Mm-hmm.
and they usually do not come back.
Well,
Do
if the
catacombs usually
are
have treasure?
literally underground, though, so they're
Yes.
probably by the Undercity. And
Yeah,
I
so,
would
like,
imagine a good chunk of the Undercity actually exists inside the catacombs, making the Bowmen active threats.
I think maybe around the catacombs. I'm imagining that the catacombs existed first, and then
yeah,
the
Mhm.
Undercity built up around that area as
there's
it
just
was dug out.
there's walls of bones that separate the catacombs from like the Red Cage Undercity. And just don't Kool-Aid man through that shit. You're gonna have a bad time.
I
Like,
imagine too, because we talked about like the deaf culture, that they also like along this row, this wall of bones that separate it. There's like altars or like different like offerings for like out of respect for the bones that were once the people that were now bones that were the catacombs.
yeah, and well, to add to what Shock said, the catacombs weren't closed because they were full. So there are probably sections of the catacombs that don't have any bones in them that are probably being used in the Undercity by the Undercity. It might be like blocked off. They might have like them just blocked it off, but probably still have some of those like spiritual adornments on them, which would
I could
add
Yeah,
to
like
also I could also see that because it's the Undercity and there's going to be a lot of the poor sections, a big part of the uh playing off the earlier open deaf culture and whatnot, a large part of the rituals for maybe some of the less fortunate would literally be putting the bodies of the recently deceased in locations that the bowmen can easily get access to it, because it is sentient and they're actively searching for bodies as well as companionship because of the way they were born. They will treat bodies openly offered to them more reverently than the ones that they actually go out and kill.
Oh shit.
that's really sweet.
Also, y'all
It's
don't have to call
sweet
them the bowmen.
partially, but it's sweet in a very fucked up way.
That's
Yes,
the best kind of sweet.
Like, are you thinking that like the people of the Undercity, and this is kind of a question for I don't I the all-seeing eye
Yeah,
and
what's up?
so, I don't know which all-seeing. Hey, I don't know.
Alan is
Alan, all
Aye
seeing
aye.
eye. Hey,
I
you bastard. You know, I can all of them.
But I was like, this is for Shock and I there. Is like, do you see, is there like a bit of a kindred understanding between the like bone creatures and the Undercity? Or
I would assume, but
I would
like,
imagine that it's a very limited one. So it's a long, kind of a very strong territorial thing. It's like, okay, we understand to this degree, and that degree is you don't cross this line. If you're
Mhm.
alive and you cross this line, you're fair game.
but
yeah, I can agree with that.
the upper city has no such truce.
Because the Undercity like try to memory hold it, forget about it, doesn't want to interact with it, and if they do interact with it, it is a pure kill on sight approach.
Okay,
Let's be honest. That's what that tracks with what we know about rich people.
I was gonna say, I'm like, they're out there, they're fucking like literally like flowers and this is oh my god, if this were a YA novel, it'd be called The City of Flowers and Bones.
Oh my god, it would.
Oh fuck.
Written by Sarah J. Maas.
Oh my god, I'm gonna write you a steamy romance in this world.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be between the knight and the necroflorist.
I really want
Don't.
to make a sex joke, but I don't know if we did lines on that. Hold on.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you from writing the novel. It would be
The-
great if you
No,
did.
it was
Because
just it was a joke. It's like more than it means more than one kind of bone. Haha.
Ah,
I'm very fucking ace.
Nice.
Okay, I will say though, I've got this show I used to run is called Be Gay Do Crime. It's like all very like queer and goofy and stuff. The horniest, most vile things that have come out of
Are
people's
all
mouths
from
are
ace
all
people.
ace people. It's all fucking ace people who are like, "Hey, want to hear what this obscure sex thing I read about?" I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I know my people.
Look, it's because they are ace, they feel no qualms of exploring the various depths of it. While
There's like
those
no
of us
shame because it's like, that's a you problem, bitch. Like,
exactly that
I was
is the core of it.
I was in a stream where like the 3 ace people in that stream were the ones who made a joke about an NPC, where the NPC literally goes, "My lady doesn't know my kinks," and then my character ended up in a relationship with that character.
I was going to point out that if your lady doesn't know your kinks, there's a problem with that relationship to begin with.
depends on what you mean by my
Their
lady.
lady, as
Like,
in
it
like
might
the
just
lady, that they were like their kingdom, their
Oh,
kingdom
that kind of
lady.
lady. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, this was
Yeah,
this
no,
was how they met.
that's probably be for the best if they
not my
didn't know your
mistress.
kinks.
That's different. Okay.
No.
Oh my god.
There's also in Queensgate a thriving BDSM community.
Oh dear Christ, with living plants, of course there would be.
That's my fact. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, with the
Okay.
living clothing,
The
yeah,
living clothing.
No,
the
wait, because there would be so
boatman.
many options with the living clothing. I'm thinking like, okay,
saying.
so hear me out. You know how people are
Okay,
really
I don't
into
know if we want to
Venom?
hear you out. I don't know if we want.
Yeah, let's stop it there because you go
Yeah.
already starting with
My face hurts
Do you
from
know
laughing.
Venom?
I need you to know that.
So there are
Good.
people I don't understand it, but no shame to those who do. There are people who are really into Venom. In a
we're going
way.
to stop it there. No, there
Okay.
is no good way this could go when you start with Venom.
I mean,
Speaking of good ways this could go, we have a couple more facts to do.
sorry, but poison is one of my other special interests, so I got
I-
time.
I told
Not that kind of Venom. We're talking about
I
DC
told our
Venom.
friends that we would be here for, I don't know, an hour or two, and we're
Marvel
getting
Venom.
close
Marvel
to 2
Venom,
hours.
sorry.
So
Wait, can you text me what's Venom in a sex context?
Not-
I
oh,
I will message you so that
okay, thank you. I want to know.
so that shock.
I'm gonna
so
Google
that
it.
Shock can be spared.
Okay.
Speaking
Oh,
of sparing Shock,
I'll Twitter DM you
What?
right now.
Venom
Alan.
in sex.
No, don't look it
Yeah,
up. Don't look it up.
I
Don't
already
look-
did. I already did.
Oh dear
Alan,
God.
what would you like to add to this wonderful chaotic soup?
Drugs.
Okay.
Because that's all we need.
Because
Yeah.
of the many things that you know me for, the other thing that I do in my games is drugs. So
Okay.
yeah, powerful drugs. Obviously, we all know there's a lot of plants that can give you hallucinogenics, flageric, psilocybin, stuff like that. Really fucks with your perception. And since we already have a lot of fungus, we have a lot of plants that will likely give you psychotropics. I'm assuming that one of the chief exports from the Undercity is powerful drugs. I'm talking plant raves.
Oh baby, can I? Okay, can I tell you? I'm sorry. I really want to tell you one psychedelic mushroom fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this Amanita muscaria, which is the mushroom that you see on the emoji, like the red toadstool with the thing, is often colloquially known as the world's worst high because it does mess. It is psychoactive. It does fuck you up. It also gives you violent problems throughout your body. So you end up high while crying, salivating, peeing, pooping yourself, and throwing up all at the same time, and is generally considered like the world's worst high, a guaranteed bad trip. Don't eat them. Why did it get the emoji? God?
God made the emoji.
So, another fun mushroom fact. The berserkers of the Norse pantheon and of Norse history, they were actually known for drinking reindeer urine after having fed them psilocybin and Amanita muscaria,
Yeah,
and that is how you get these no pain, no fear, ungodly strong berserkers. It
that's like
was because they were just tripping balls.
that's one of the only safe ways to consume Amanita muscaria is through reindeer piss. And then there are also various northern indigenous tribes who have other like processes that are like involve like boiling and fumes and stuff that don't make you shit your pants. But trust me, if the fucking Norsemen were coming at you and having diarrhea, would have been a lot less scary or scarier. Honestly, could have gone either way.
I mean,
And-
Wait,
if
so
a 250 plus pound man of pure muscle was coming at me, crying, salivating, pissing, and shitting himself in pure, unadulterated fury, yes, that would be scary to me.
to be
wait,
fair,
that's
Growing
what
up.
to be
would
fair,
make you flappable.
the actual accounts in both the Eddas and in writing, like historical writings, actually say that they were salivating a lot because some of these guys didn't bother with the distillation process.
What?
Um, and they thought it was a form of like rabid,
Oh my god!
like rabies. They thought it was like foaming at the mouth rabies, but it is some of
It
that
was
is actually
sludge.
attributed. It was,
That's
yeah.
muscarine. Did you know one of the antidotes for muscarine poisoning is deadly nightshade? That feels like it has world relevance. I'm sorry. If people are dealing in psychedelic mushrooms and maybe you get the second drawer, like, you have the top shelf shit, which is like, your psilocybin, like that stuff, but you get your second stuff, which is like your Amanita muscaria, you're gonna have a rough night. And the antidote is deadly nightshade that you have to go get from the fucking poisoner as being like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, excuse me.
I mean, alchemists and poisoners go hand in hand, right?
Also, wasn't the
It's
Salem
kind
witch
of like
trials
the
all a result of a
locksmith
bad
and
high?
lockpicker scenario. The best of one makes a very good of the other.
So, I want to make sure that I've gotten the major idea of what you wanted for this, Alan. One of the chief exports from the Undercity are powerful plant-based drugs, often for parties in the city itself.
And fungus. Not a plant.
Plant
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
fungus-based drugs.
plant and fungus-based drugs. I was actually, yeah, so that is, I don't think it's just for parties. I think it's also for like experimentation and reagents and stuff like that.
What if there are berserkers, like you were saying, though?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what if
Do
these are
you-
some of the.
Sorry, I would say, do you think that the bone man monstrosity thing in the catacombs also might be like on some of these plants?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh my god,
Oh yeah,
Your
yeah, that would
pure
probably-
excitement at that.
I feel like there is definitely some cult or something in the city where the initiation ritual is you have to take some fucked up drugs and survive in the catacombs for like an hour. And like that's how you get in.
I feel like that's the
Not
same
an
kid
hour.
that's waiting for the
Not
wall
an
to.
hour is too short of a time. A
So-
Are you,
day.
y'all, when you're bad high on a bad trip with bone men rumbling around and a wall.
Can we talk about a walkabout? I will talk about a walkabout and how fucked up the situation that
What's a
is.
walkabout?
What's walkabout?
All right, so
Like the-
primarily it
the-
is
the-
an Australian
Yeah,
Aboriginals cultural concept, but essentially what you do is you get stupid high, and you just walk in the Australian wilderness for days.
The Australian wilderness?
The Australian wilderness.
I love that you had
That's-
to confirm it.
Well, that's like wilderness times.
that's
That's
where they
it.
keep the koalas.
That's where they keep the fucking kangaroos.
Just don't
You win
touch
the
the
walkabout
koalas.
if you find a koala.
Don't
And
touch
they
the
have-
koalas. They give you the clap.
Oh,
Don't
and
they have birds that drop from the sky to kill you?
Yes.
Isn't
They also
everything in
have
Australia
raining
trying to kill you?
spiders. Let's not forget that.
Damn. You know, I
Ooh,
think actually
raining
no one should be
spiders.
high in Australia. I'll say
I
it.
don't think anybody should be in Australia.
So here's what
Hot
to
take.
get us back into the realm of talking about the world facts.
I think this is
I
relevant,
do,
Finn.
huh?
I think this is relevant. I think we're
Oh
talking about
yeah,
Yeah.
doing
So
drugs.
the
I
yeah.
think
concept
we're
of
giving you very
a
terrifying ideas.
a cult whose initiation ritual is you get stupid high and you have to survive inside the catacombs for a day is
Yeah.
reasonable.
Oh, 100%. I just didn't want to let this thought that I had go.
Fair enough.
I love that the idea of the drugs being exported into the city itself could mean that the cultivation and commerce of these drugs are illegal, but the possession and use is not. Kind of gives an idea of what some of the laws could be and how they've been
Oh, talking
skirted by
about
the
double
undercity.
standards and drug laws.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, well,
These
who would have ever thought of that?
motherfuckers.
Hang on, we've already established that if you break the law, you're immediately ejected. So that would apply the catacombs is also a part of the undercity in the way that it is outside the cream's sphere of influence.
yes.
Which is interesting because the fountain is in the Undercity, isn't it?
Wait, what if using drugs is against the law and there's like an automagical law enforcement, maybe you literally have to go to the catacombs to use drugs.
No, because
No.
I think that the use would not be so much as the creation. Because once they're there, if they are there naturally, for instance,
Also makes it really interesting if you're one of the gardeners who's growing a plant for whatever reason, but it turns out to have psychedelic properties. Like,
I would
you got to be really careful about what's in your botanical garden.
yeah,
I just want okay. You can tell me if I'm being autistic about this, okay?
go for it.
But I one of my little beefs is the very human-centric view of ecologies and trying to classify some mushrooms as inherently dangerous or bad. Like for example, the death cap mushroom is a symbiote, a mycorrhizal mushroom that nourishes trees. Don't eat it, don't fucking eat it, but it is a really important mushroom for the ecosystem. Similarly, like the primary liberty cap they use for like psilocybin is a decomposer, so it would probably fall under like the earth death magic folk, even though it's a very powerful hallucinogen. So I'm just I maybe it's too complicated. Maybe in this world mushrooms only do one thing. I don't know if that makes it easier.
No, I I think that that's a valid concern to bring up. Perhaps it isn't that if something grows naturally, it's fine. If it's purposefully cultivated, that's a different story.
So it's like if it's found in your botanical garden specifically, not okay. But if it's in a community garden, maybe it just ended up there.
Well, what if
Basically,
it's in your botanical garden and you care for your garden and it's naturally a part of it? Wouldn't one then care for the thing that's naturally occurring in their garden?
But
hmm,
it wouldn't naturally, nothing naturally occurs in a garden because it's a cultivated space, like a curated space.
I mean, weeds
Like
show up and stuff.
in an indoor garden, not really, not in a botanical.
Oh,
Like a,
are they indoor? I thought they were outdoor. Okay, that's
oh
that's
no, I mean
botanical gardens specifically are
not. No,
inside
you're right.
places.
Some of them are
they are.
outdoors. Maybe there's a mixture, but I was really envisioning the Victorian, like epic, towering, almost gothic
Okay.
greenhouses of glass panes that
That's so
tower.
funny
But I
that
think you could
we
have
had
outdoor
like
ones.
the same view, but then like other people had
Knox got
slightly different
confused.
ones.
That's because
No.
like the botanical gardens that I've visited typically, but that being said, the biggest botanical garden that I've been to and the poison garden in England that you were talking about is an outdoor garden.
Yeah, well, because
Um,
the botanical gardens I went to, okay, I'm not sure if they're actually botanical gardens. Again, I'm from LA. I don't,
they
but
have
it's like
botanicals in LA. It's okay.
the Huntington Library has the botanical gardens. That's all outdoors. The arboretum I just considered a giant garden. Not gonna lie, that's all outdoors because you can't really fit a tree inside.
Ooh, okay. A
That's
lot.
fair.
Or the peacocks. Don't put a peacock inside.
Also, like, I guess what is the climate in Queensgate? Because I mean, I'm from Canada, so I assume you have very dramatic seasons. That if they were outdoors, the botanical gardens would all die in winter because they'd
That
be
is
kind
a
of.
good question that
Would
has
there be?
not yet been established.
Would that be tied to the magic? Because
What if the climate in the city is different than outside of the city? And that's part of the the Iron Gate, like wall
So there's a
magic.
natural magical phenomenon that occurs both inside and outside the city's
We
walls.
we do still have two facts to establish. Knox, you are one of them.
Fine.
oh, I am okay. Oh God, that's lots of stuff. Okay. Okay. Oh, really quick before we go into like me actually say like me making things like this is Queensgate law. Okay, so I need to stop reading chat because then my brain starts doing the thing where it starts making things because I saw magical greenhouse and I thought about magic school bus. Anyways, so
I'm aboard.
um really quick. I thought it was really interesting. Like, what if that cult that is like in the catacombs is also the cult that's like rust in peace and like wants the gate to fall?
Yes, I love
Like,
this
I don't
cult.
know why them being the same cult. Like, I don't know what this cult's deal is. They sound kind of cool. Not sure what their deal is though.
What if
But
they're
that's not
also
my
the
fact.
berserkers? Like,
Yes. It's just like the same group of people doing the same shit.
well,
All
no,
of
because that makes sense. If they're the ones going into the catacombs with getting high and going to the catacombs and having to survive, it makes sense that they're also the ones getting high to become berserkers. They're like the barbarian berserker rage, kind of equivalent. And then also maybe they actually have a kind of live, laugh, love view of the world, and they're like, let it rust. But more like because they want to know what's going on. Sorry, I love this cult. I want to join. Sign me up. Let's make it
Sign me
fucking
up.
weird.
Oh,
Gnome is 100% for cults. That's
I'm
something they've always said.
I'm broke. Oh, no. This is what gets me canceled on the fucking internet.
all the best religions started off as cults. I will just say it like that.
And also all the worst
I mean,
ones.
we'll just say all of them in general.
All of them.
But
And
also, what's the what isn't the difference between a cult and a religion three people?
there's
No,
actually
no,
no.
no. A cult, because
A
Heaven's Gate
cult.
isn't. By definition, Heaven's Gate isn't a cult because they actually let people leave. So the thing is, a cult won't let you leave. But Heaven's Gate gave people option. They're like, hey, we're gonna do the thing, but if you're not feeling it, it's okay. Go home. We understand. We love you. We support you. Get your asses out, and you don't have to do it. And so that's why Heaven's Gate is not a cult. That is not related to my fact.
Also,
I
I think there are different
don't
kinds.
want to agree with that definition of a cult.
No, cults are typically defined by having a physical leader.
That's a cult of personality.
I also want to not agree to that definition of a cult. I I was always under the impression that a cult was primarily two key factors: size and official recognition.
Mm,
So, what
Uh,
is the size difference between religion and a
I
cult?
I
To
don't
me,
think
the size difference between a cult and a religion is the order of magnitude. A cult is usually numbered somewhere less than 1,000 individual members.
So, is
While
Scientology not a cult?
well that's the thing.
before we get taken
by
off the
my
internet
definition, no,
entirely,
Scientology would not be considered a cult. It's still a fucked up religion, but by my definition, no, it would not be considered a cult.
From a
That's
classical
really
studies
interesting.
nerd perspective, though, you would say like the cult of Persephone to refer to like the Eleusinian mysteries and like the sort of like somewhat niche but recognized veneration of a less prominent deity within an existing pantheon would constitute a cult. in depending on the vernacular you're using. I know that in like today we don't use it that way.
No, but there are lots of just elements of society that do have cult-like tendencies or use cult-like language. So that's a really good book, actually, if you're really interested in this. Again, I'm sorry, Sin, I'll get to my fact. Is Cultish by Amanda Montell. She also has a podcast called Sounds Like a Cult, where she talks about how like Lululemon uses like cult-like mentalities and
Like
like
they do.
Y'all,
tactics.
I went to a yoga class today for the first time in like over a year, and I was like,
Are you okay?
my body feels great. My soul feels tarnished, and my lycra is lacking. It was so much.
Did you say your Lacrosse was lacking?
I said my lycra. Listen. Hey, Bulba boy, thanks for the raid. Welcome.
Oh,
Thank
Hey.
you.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Bulba
Also,
boy, hold it.
Jolie, just to be clear, I never started a cult, okay? The players started a cult in a world I'd made for them. They started a cult.
Welcome
Venus.
in.
Welcome to the
We
cult.
are
That's the time to
doing
join.
a world building stream
But my tablet's at 2%. Nah, it's fine.
where we are creating the facts of the world that is going to be in play.
We're building
Hey,
a cult. Want to help?
We're building multiple cults.
if
Wanna help?
you want
All
to
cult.
build a cult based on personality, might I suggest the Bulba Boy, because he has a heck of a personality.
Egg.
The cult
Love
must
your
worship a crystal egg. Okay.
Oops.
I
Cult
love
of
it.
Mothman Furby. Hear me out.
But thank you so much for the raid. We have 2 more facts to make about the world. I have underestimated the amount of time it would take to make these facts because I have brought together some wonderful agents of chaos to do it.
Cults, 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 cults.
Everybody.
Cults, 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 cults,
Cults,
cults, cults,
cults,
cults,
cults, cults,
cults,
cults,
cults,
cults.
Okay, Knox, bring us home with
Yeah.
this cult that you've created. The cult you are founding at this moment.
Okay. Let's get in a. Let's not get in a culty mindset,
Get into
but like
cults.
And last thing I will say about the raid, if you need to take care of yourself, raid and run, you do that because that is what is necessary. Also,
No,
take
no one
this
can leave the cult. You're in
moment
now.
to say that thank you for everyone who has followed. We have anonymous follows on. I also am not sure if I set up the alerts on this particular window. So I've been hearing the alerts go off, but I now realize I don't know if everyone can hear that or not.
We can.
So thank you for all the followers that have come in today.
we got more followers.
We have more followers.
Hey. All right. Okay. I'm gonna try to tie things together here. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm
I
just gonna.
believe in you.
Thank you. So glad somebody does. So don't tell my grandma I said that. She'll get really sad. Anyways, so
Oh, your
I'm gonna
grandma's
just no. I would just talk and then hopefully things make sense. Okay. So I talked about the cult. I want to think that the cult has like some thing that they're doing that like people see that and they're like, oh, that's a nice cult. I want to be part of that. And so I want to be part of that, like, because that cult's doing some good things. And so I'm trying to think of what that is. So, Sin, question. What would you say is like the main source of unhappiness in Queensgate amongst its citizens?
That is a good question. I would say the fact that things don't often change is probably the big thing. Like there are probably seasons to things, but you do have a static situation. And eventually that's going to cause unrest.
Yeah, because people get bored. Okay. I think that the cult has the way that the cult gets people to join isn't necessarily by doing it. It's mainly the fact that they shake things up. So sometimes the cult will just go and do shit to shake things up a little bit. It might not be like big and harmful, but it's something that breaks up the monotony of yes, no.
What if they're a cult devoted to specifically to a deity of transformation or something like that? Like
Oh,
change for the sake of change is what they venerate. Change in perception, change in state. So like decay, bloom, altered being.
What if it's a mushroom god?
What? Listen, what if it's a mushroom god? I'm
look,
gonna
I'm
say
all for bringing Zinch into this nonsense, but
that.
let's not try and get the ire of GW's lawyers on us.
Wait, what's
I don't know anything you just said. I'm gonna
It's
be
from
honest.
it's a reference to Warhammer 40k. It's one of the chaos gods, Zinch, which is the chaos
Zinch.
god of change.
Are they a mushroom?
They have been depicted as a mushroom-like entity before.
Yes.
Z-
Also as a giant bird.
Is it TZEENTCH?
Correct.
More or less, yeah.
Unbearable as a spelling decision that they have made. Okay. Holy
Welcome to the
shit.
Queensgate Spelling Bee.
So
Hi, welcome to me smashing my head on the keyboard.
interestingly, though we have had all of the discussion of the lore surrounding the creation of this cult, it's never been in a fact.
The cult isn't a fact.
Wait, I thought that was your fact right now. What were you saying?
I was
So
talking about how the cult came.
here's the thing that I'm saying
Okay.
is you can establish the cult as the fact.
Yes, let's just do that so people can go to sleep. Because I talk too much.
I'm emotionally invested in the cult, and if you take it away from me, I'll cry.
I will cry if I don't get to interact with this cult
So-
repeatedly. Sin.
What is the most important element if you were to narrow it down into a sentence and distill it? What is the most important about this cult?
Oh God, we said so many cool things about it.
Might I make a suggestion about the nature and presentation of the cult?
Please do. My brain is doing the thing where it's when
How
the dial-up.
familiar are you with the game series Pathologic?
Not at all.
Okay, so one, not only am I my roots in Dead Space, I'm also have some roots in the series Pathologic, so I'm going to show for that series as much as I can.
I'm also going to say that explains so much that I know about you now. Like I've learned so much in you expressing this fandom.
What is pathologic? Tell me. I want to be intuitive.
Pathologic is like if Dark Souls was as hard as people said Dark Souls was in like all of the comparisons. Pathologic is the game that people talk Dark Souls up to be.
The level of difficulty of accomplishing anything in that game is damn near impossible. Because that's not the point. You're not supposed to accomplish anything.
If you're ever interested in Pathologic, the best thing that I can recommend is to go watch videos on it, because that is a less masochistic activity.
It's probably like the only game more difficult than Pathologic is probably the Lion King for the SNES.
Which was designed to be impossible.
I fucking hate
But my
that
point
game.
of the matter is there is a group of characters known as the Thespians in the Pathologic series that I would feel fit the idea you're trying to go with this cult, which is the whole change and new experiences. It's more theater based than just pure change, but I feel like that it would work for what you're going with.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking that they're mainly just they. It's like, what's your goal? We just want things to be different. Well, different how? Different. Which is part of why it's like let it rust with when it comes to the gate, because then there won't be a gate. Think of all the shit that would happen if there wasn't a gate. Things would be so different. Let's go fuck with the Bone Man fucker in the catacombs because that's and that's probably why they're like high all the time. It's because like it's a different state of mind than just the monotony of having to deal with the upper city stuff.
Is this a
Like they
cult
just
about having ADHD?
it's
I'm bored. Fuck it up.
Okay,
the cult of I can't pick a special interest.
so
Yeah,
so I have distilled this down, and let me know
Thank you.
if you think that there is a cult of change based in the Undercity that wants the gate to rust and be challenged, and they want to be challenged by the struggles of the outer world.
yes, that works.
And also, they do drugs and run around in the catacombs. Because
I'll include the drugs as long
want
as it makes it through Lines of Veils.
Do lines
Of
and veils.
God, Lines of Veils, the way that you said it just sounded like thoughts and prayers, and I was
lines and
shook.
veils. Live, laugh, lines and veils.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, that hurts too much.
I'm gonna reach
That
for my
hurts.
feeling with choke right
That
now.
hurts entirely too much.
Okay. So, the last fact I am going to write out here.
Last fact. The end of the knowing. This is the end of creation. This is the 7th day. It was 7 days, right?
It was 7 days.
Nice.
Well, it was
1 day.
6
6
plus 1 day of
days,
rest.
and the 7th day was a rest.
Okay. This is the 6th day.
So,
time for a nap.
On the
Go to bed.
7th day, Chuck Norris took over.
True.
I just took a shot. I am not about to take another one. I'm
Then we'll
already
let him know your
9
next
deep.
move.
I am 9 deep.
See?
I have work
Yeah,
in
we
the
can
morning.
take it. We can take
Why
it.
So-
are
we
you
can
doing?
take a nap
Are we doing
tomorrow.
this to you? Are we driving you to drink? I'm sorry.
Alan is, yes.
Alan
I mean-
specifically.
I mean, to be fair, it's not on purpose that I drive him to drink. It's just a byproduct of my existence.
Speaking of byproducts of your existence, the Undercity has a system of laws where guilt and innocence is decided based on mystical challenges.
Wait, was that how you were able to tie in?
The second fact from Hooper, yes.
Yay! I was worried about
Yeah, I
that.
love it.
So we tied it all together. Some of the things were more complex than we could accomplish, but I think we've distilled the essence down to that. So, with that in mind, I would like to read the facts one final time, and then we will go around the horn and let all of these wonderful individuals tell you where that you can find them, because you will want to find them. They all make excellent, different kinds of content. So, fact number 1. This fantasy world has a single large city named Queensgate that is ruled by an immortal queen who is fair, equitable, and ruthless when anyone breaks her laws. 2. The most powerful houses in Queensgate each cultivate an indoor botanical garden that they use as a magical power source, and these gardens are a source of status as well. Accessibility and elemental magic are intertwined into the fabric of Queensgate, and advances in accessibility are treated with great respect. There is a political faction which searches for breaches in the city's walls during the night, and they are well funded and considered a vigilante group. There's a thriving criminal undercity fueled by magical runoff, which is outside of the Queen's reach. Beneath the heart of Queensgate, there is a hidden fountain rumored to be tied to the Queen's immortality. Queensgate has a 100-foot Queensgate has 100-foot walls and a single enormous gate that opens each dawn and closes at dusk, protecting anyone within the walls and dooming anyone outside of the walls. Queensgate has an elaborate and open death culture, including a Day of the Dead holiday and ossuaries documenting histories. Magical experiments have created virulent, sentient, carnivorous plants that roam the closed catacombs of the Undercity, feasting on carrion and creating fresh kills. One of the chief exports from the Undercity are powerful plant and fungus-based drugs, often used for parties or experimentation in the city itself. There's a cult of change in the Undercity that wants the gate to rust, and they want to be challenged by the struggles of the outer world. The Undercity has a system of laws where guilt and innocence are decided based on mystical challenges. All of these together create the facts which I will use to lovingly craft the world in which the Queensgate Chronicles will take place. Again, starting February 5th. Very excited about that.
That's my birthday.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Happy
you know. Happy
3 months
Queen's
before your birthday.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll also, during that day, be celebrating my affiliate anniversary.
Oh
Oh,
my
nice.
God.
It's
Oh,
not on the
hey!
day, but it's around the day.
Close
so, you know.
enough. The Holy
Yeah.
Well, that was a
Trinity.
coincidence.
My birth, Queensgate, and your affiliate status.
It's meant to be. It's magical. And speaking of magical, let's go around starting with the wonderful No Man. Tell people who you are, what you're doing, where to find you.
Hi. I'm Gnome Anne here on Twitch. I stream world building and run actual plays on my channel, and also play Baldur's Gate, in which I try to kiss Karlach and she's not interested. It's devastating, truly. I also create short form content on Instagram and TikTok, including silly puns and general shenanigans and voice acting for evil. Also, I talk about mushrooms on Twitter sometimes. That's me. Hey.
Love it so much. Moving on to Nox.
Hi everyone, my name is Nox Quiros. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And you can find me on social media all over. But that's what Linktree is for. At Noxternal_7. I am going to be tomorrow. Wow, the captions almost got my last name correct. That's impressive. Okay. Anyways, I'm ADHD if you couldn't tell. So, you can catch me tomorrow on the initiative order playing Inferno. It's a bi-weekly Wednesday campaign that might get turned into a weekly one because we kind of got to wrap it up because we have a day that we need to be done by and we're not close to being done by that day. Where I play Alma, the pagan, who at this point has befriended the Minotaur, killed Medusa, pet Cerberus, is about to get a ride on my boy. It just if you like Inferno, you'll tell. Garion is I love Garion, which is a really weird thing to say if you've read Inferno, but I do. And then coming up soon, not sure when because I did get sick for like 2 months, but soon we'll be releasing Survive. Nope, I changed the name. Left for Undead over on Bard Rock Network, which is a all disabled table that I am GMing. It's a post-apocalyptic survival game, and I'm very, very excited about it. And that's all I have until Queensgate. So please, oh, no, I can't announce that yet. Put me in stuff, please. I need things to do. And I'm also going to be using my Twitch in January because I'll have access to a PC.
Love it. Moving down to the bottom area, Shock.
Hi, I'm Shockpoint Failure. Thank you for everybody for joining us. So let's see, where can you find me next? Good news. The next time you'll be able to find me will actually be tomorrow night over on my own channel here on Twitch which is Shockpoint Failure, as my name implies, where I will be probably playing through a little bit more of Limitless Company. I do play a lot of very let's go with Eldritch themed games on my channel, but I do branch out on occasion from there. In addition to that, I do show up quite frequently over on Singularity and Neon Lights, where I will play through a lot of random things trying to survive. In particular, I am also the storyteller for the um, excuse me, Speakeasy Conspiracy campaign, which will be returning the first Saturday in January. So keep an eye out for that. Also on Tabletop, next time you'll be able to catch me will actually be this week, I want to say 8th, over on Neon Lights with the return of Last Transmission. It might be the 7th. I need to double check my dates. I'm also about 9 shots of whiskey in, so me being able to actually speak coherently is impressive.
Speaking of impressive, let's move over to Alan.
Hey guys, my name's Alan, that one guy. Hey, you asshole. You know me. You will find me almost entirely on Singularity. My next one is actually going to be this weekend with Fragments of Tomorrow's Apocalypse, which also stars our very own Sin playing Fee. And if you love crime and gay and noir, that is probably the place to come because it is going to be full of that as the crew has to deal with the biggest problem of them all, themselves.
It's
You're
true.
not wrong. Also, possibly the gayest heterosexual couple that I've ever seen in a TTRPG.
Absolutely. Absolutely. After that, I will be returning to Singularity as a player for Camp Runners Cross. And then we go back to Breaking Neon, which is another nitty gritty noir story that is actually one that I have written. And you can also find the published cases for that on the City of Mist Garage in Drive Through RPG. And I am currently halfway through with writing the series. And then afterwards, at the very end of the month, you will find me. Actually, we have to figure out when we're doing that again. Is King's Gambit, which is a spy action thriller using Outgunned. And I think that's about it.
Fantastic. And I have been your facilitator of chaos this evening. Synthetic, you can find me at Synthetic20 over at Blue Sky, Asynthetic20 on Twitter. If you're following this channel, then you're following my Twitch channel, which I have changed so that we can do a once a month stream and still have affiliate. Hey, love that for us. But as far as things that are coming up for me, on Thursday, I'm going to be over on High Shelf Collective. We will be playing Cyber plus Punk, the Forged in the Dark cyberpunk game. I am going to be playing a femme character that is basically a Queen of Blades ripoff, and I love her for it. And then I will be Fragments of Tomorrow's Apocalypse, Autumn, and Camp Runner Cross over on Singularity on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. of this coming week. And then on that Friday, we're going to be back for Site 117G, I think, maybe. We'll find out.
Should be. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
You know, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to pick up because I am also on Singularity way too much. But on the 28th, I will be on a different channel on Lost Caravan, playing some Pathfinder. And next year, I am going to be starting to do more. I'm a chancellor over on Nerds with Dice. So if you are interested in hearing more about what's going on over there, there is an interview show that is in the works. I've heard that maybe possibly there's a person named Synthetic that might be the host of said interview show. I will also be running through the solo TTRPG of one of my best friends in the TTRPG space, Enio. And that is going to be on like the 6th or 7th of January, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head because the top of my head is completely gone. But there's going to be plenty of other stuff. I'm also the creator of the Queensgate system, that you can think of the Queensgate Chronicles as an early access look at this system as we test it before it goes out to the public. But we'll still run some wonderful and exciting games in that system starting February 5th. As far as where we're going, I think we are going to actually raid High Shelf Collective. They are doing a charity event. They're on break right now, but we're still going to send you over to them because we like supporting charity. And I think that is everything for me to say. Y'all
Thank
have
you for
been
having me.
wonderful. Thank you for being here. This has been excellent. You all have created a wonderful world, a wonderful play, a wonderful sandbox in which I will be able to torture all of the players in. And
Yay.
on that note, have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Rest in
Bye.
peace.
Rest in peace, everybody.
Hope to catch you all next time.